Before we get started here, we want to give a big shout out to our friends over at OmniLab have been taking communication to a whole nother level. We're living in a time right now where you can't be visiting your friends and your family, checking in with your loved ones. Their telecommunications robot is allowing you to visit them with the most simplistic of ways, being able to dial right into a 4K camera that also has web conferencing abilities. So, visiting loved ones as a group is possible to check in with mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever it may be. So, if you're looking for the best possible deals to make sure that you are taking advantage of this wonderful tool to take you into 2021 and beyond, make sure you check that description and below for OmniLabs, their telecommunication robot.
And also FCD Box. If you guys have not heard of these guys, I'm sure you guys have heard of Wolf launchers. You guys have heard of all these different launchers that you could add to your Amazon Fire devices. These guys have their own exclusive launcher that you could add to your stuff, which takes care of so many good things and just make it very, very accessible just at the touch of your hands. Make sure you guys do go to fcdbox.com or check the description below to see how you guys can get hooked up with the latest and greatest launcher.
And also, our friends over at Buzz TV have been making waves in the streaming community last year, and they're continuing to take it to a next level this year. They have some really interesting devices that we talked about on our Beyond the Streams interview with them. So if you missed that, make sure you check it out. And in the description below, there's going to be coupon codes so that you guys will continue to get the best deals from Buzz TV. So make sure you check that in the description below.
And getting a VPN, guys. VPNs are so important right now. There's just so many things, people getting hacked, people getting ISP letters and DMC takedown notices, and just securing your information. You literally never know when somebody is watching you. So make sure you guys do get a VPN, because you do want to make sure you guys are protected. VPN does so much more than just protect your privacy. It gives you that peace of mind. And the same way how some of you guys have an antivirus to protect your computer from those attacks, getting a VPN just makes sense. Make sure you guys do check the description below. We have several links in there that we do recommend and we do like, we've tested. So make sure you guys do get yourself protected. It's all in the description below. Make sure you do get that protection.
Make sure to subscribe to our channels and the podcast, and always leave us a comment or a review to let us know how we're doing and what kind of content you're looking forward in the future. With all that being said, guys, let's start the show.
And welcome back to another episode. We started doing this last month where we were recording, I guess you could say, the streaming breaking news, if you want to call it. If you want to call it, maybe. I don't know. Streaming breaking news updates. Anything related to streaming. We're going to bring it to you guys in one episode, hopefully in one episode. I know there's a lot of stuff that's out there, but yeah, these are some of the things that come across through our Telegram or Reddit or Twitter or
the community in general.
Yeah, somewhere. So first one off the bat, let's just start it off right there. Livenet TV. Livenet TV. So I think you sent this to me.
Yeah.
And it was going around several places, and it says, we keep this app free by sharing your, and I don't know if I'm allowed to capitalize it, YOUR, your, you people.
You crank that.
Yeah. By sharing your IP address with a verified corporation to browse the internet. IP addresses will be used only when the device is connected to the Wi-Fi or very limited cellular data. You are not using the device, or the device has enough battery power. You want to give us some some explanation on this one?
So this coding is called the Illuminati coding, and it's seen in applications like I believe HD Streams. It's seen in Mobdro. It's seen in quite a few applications these days, and it's just basically giving these applications full access to your device's information and resources. You never really know what they're doing with your information on the other side. I made a video about this particular Livenet, and somebody in the comment was like, "This is a legitimate company, and they're doing this and this with your information." I'm like, I don't want anybody doing anything with my information. Like, I don't care if you want to call them legitimate or not. Everybody's legitimate until they're not. So.
Yep. Well, it's funny that we're talking about this, because so I have the Disney Vacation Club, and they sent me a letter saying we will use your information within our circle of companies or our third parties that is related to vacationing. If you want to opt out of this, please follow the 3 things below. And they gave me 3 options, actually. Number 1 was like, you sign the paper and say, do not share it. You can call them and say, do not share it. Or you can go online and fill something out that says, do not share it. But a lot of companies do this. It's crazy, because a company like Disney, it's not like they need to share my information because they're making stupid amount of money. But I think it has to do with more of like, hey, there's other benefits to go with this, But when I see this, when it's just like, hey, this is how we keep stuff free, what would you think they're doing with your IP address then at that point? Like, who would they share it to? Like Facebook? Like, is there ads even in Livenet?
Well, they're using the information and they're allowing you to have an ad-free experience, which means that they're mining your data and giving it to companies so that they're sharing how you use the internet. Because it's not just how you're using Livenet, it's how you use your information. Let's say you have this application on your cell phone, right? And it's running in the background or whatever it's doing. It's collecting how you use your device and selling that information to marketing companies so that they can market products better to you so that you'd buy it. If you would like that, sure, but that's still an invasion of privacy at that point, I think, for me.
So the question was, do they put ads on the app?
No.
No ads. So again, who are they giving this information to? And what is the benefit? Like okay, the benefit for them, for Livenet, of course, is money.
Monetary.
That's how they get cheddar, whatever. Now, the benefit for me, if I'm using it, ad free. Okay, so what I'm trying to put together now is, if I am an end user of Livenet, and these guys are giving my information to Lord knows who, I have no idea who they're giving it to.
Right.
How do I expect, or what should I expect? Should I expect ads on my Gmail? Should I expect what is it like? How is it that they're making their money? Because obviously, when it comes to ads is an easy thing that they're like, boom, here's an ad, that there you go. But with Livenet having no ads and they're selling my information, how does that company come back to me for me to buy something from them?
It's not specifically to buy something from you. They're selling your information. So it could be anything that they're looking for in your device. Like, let's say there's a campaign that they're trying to figure out how many men go to this website, or how many women use this product, or whatever it is. They're gathering information and selling that data to third parties. Now, the other concerning thing to me about this is it's also using your device's resources, like the actual resources of your device, when it's apparently idle, which means your device is being overworked. An overworked device means less lifespan. So I don't know. To me, it's just all around. I don't want people using my information or my device. These are things that I purchased with my own money. Stay back, get away, go away.
So make sure you get a VPN.
Well, yes. And be very careful what applications you're using. People have asked me, should I completely stop using Livenet? I'm like, that's not necessarily what I'm saying. Livenet still has two different applications. There's the one that has this code in it, and then there's the one with advertisements, and that one does have advertisements, obviously, and it's still the same old not Livenet. So you can still use that one if you want. You can use an ad blocker or whatever you like. Speaking about streaming applications, there was or is a Zion resurrected application called Wade or Weed, and this one is starting to charge people for access to certain features in the app. And we saw when Zion started doing this shortly after the application went down. Now, the interesting part is this application is only charging for lifetime subscriptions up to $800 USD for a lifetime subscription of an application that is not even guaranteed. How does that make you feel?
$800.
Up to 800. That's their highest package. Sure, they have cheaper packages. I mean, I can go over the packages if you want. It starts at 75, and then it goes all the way up in increments of like 140, 200, 250, 500, and then all the way up to 800. And it gives you different access to different, like how many devices that you have on their plan, and it like different features and that kind of crap. But I would never pay for a lifetime subscription to anything in the streaming world. The only thing that's kind of debatable for a lifetime subscription is something that's like in the Play Store that's legitimate, like TV Mate. TV Mate, completely worth it for a lifetime subscription. Third-party streaming apps, nah, not worth it at all.
Well, see, what people are starting to do now is they're starting to get smart. They're starting to say, they're starting to do what Superbox is doing, where they're like, hey, this is lifetime, not your lifetime. People, it's funny how everybody's like, oh, I just bought this thing and I have a guaranteed. It's like, yeah, it's only guaranteed until it stops working.
Right.
Same thing with the lifetime. It's not as okay. Whenever you pass away, that's when this thing's going to pass away too with you. No, lifetime means the lifetime of the app, the lifetime of whenever it decides to crap out.
Right.
And I think a lot of like, I think people are starting to realize that now. They're starting to say like, hey, you know what? Instead of doing a Zion club where it was a couple bucks a month, let's just pay me a one-time deal, $500, and we'll never bother you again. You'll have access to the premium stuff, and that's it. But there, of course, there's always going to be somebody that's going to go in there and strip stuff out, and and then put it out there and say, "Here you go, here it is," and it's going to be this whole war. And I think there was several third-party apps that was saying, "Hey, if anybody strips my APK, then I'm gonna expose your IP address." Remember that?
Yeah.
So again, like dumb stuff like this, that every time you find an app, an APK that says, yeah, guess what? TV Zion, here is the stripped down version where you don't have to get a subscription. It's gonna piss somebody off enough, and
there's always going to be a Karen. There's always a Karen, right? Like we saw it in the streaming community when they announced this pricing. What happened? All over Telegram.
Yeah,
there was a rat.
People were, there was one dude that was being totally stupid about stuff. It's just like, dude, what are you doing?
Make this a public service announcement, right? No matter how you feel in the streaming community, it is never acceptable to be a rat. If you don't like something, cool, right? But there's no reasons to be running to the powers that be and start saying Red Rover. We call Ace over.
It's dumb. It's just there's people that's dumb, and then there's a lot of people that are dumb.
Yeah. Anyways,
don't be one of those people, please. Please be smart about it. And then speaking of lifetime, so Superbox has kind of changed their motto I guess you can say. Um, Superbox has changed their whole thing where they're just like, hey, it's not lifetime. I guess they're saying now you get like a year warranty off of their stuff. Like, hey,
Mhm.
we're at least guaranteeing 1 full year of our newest Superbox device. I don't know what they're doing with their previous, but at least with the new one. But check this out. Superbox has announcement of suspension sales on Amazon due to some competitors maliciously harming Superbox reputation on the Amazon platform. Recently, Superbox decided to suspend sales on the Superbox S2 Pro. The date of recovery is to be determined. If any sellers or retailers continue to sell Superbox S2 Pro on Amazon, or provides products to Amazon sellers, Superbox will cease to supply goods to the violator. If you have any doubts about this announcement, please contact your sales rep, blah, 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 blah. Here's the email. Thank you for your cooperation. Sincerely, the Superbox team. So this is what's happening. This is like this Superbox is putting their own foot in their own mouth. If I'm over here, if I'm saying, hey, I'm Superbox, next level, is my retailer, hey, here next level, or my reseller, hey, next level, sell my super boxes. And you're like, cool, I'm gonna go on eBay, I'm gonna go on Amazon, I'm gonna publish it, I'm gonna put it all over the place. MSRP suggested retail value is $800.
I thought it was 5.
Not for the new one,
What the shit?
but you're like, you know what? I'm gonna sell it for $300.
Yeah.
Okay, at that point, should I be pissed off if you want to sell it for cheaper? If I'm Superbox?
But I feel like that's not the real reason.
Yes or no question. Yes or no. Don't go crazy. Yes or no. Should I be pissed?
No.
No. Why?
Well, historically, they've done the same thing. They've always put a higher MSRP and then told their resellers to sell it for a lower price. So
okay. So I'll go ahead and unleash the beast. Why would I get pissed then?
this isn't the reason. This is not the reason they don't want it on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
You knew I was going to say that too. Amazon is too much heat to be selling a service on it. Like, you don't want a service on it. They're causing way too much red flags for themselves, and they're looking to protect themselves and potentially, keep the longevity of their service for their customers, which is kind of respectable. But at the same time, I don't know if just saying don't sell us on Amazon is enough.
No, hell no, because they're gonna put it on eBay. They're gonna put it all over the place. They're gonna put it
It's not even like that. They're gonna send it to every freaking YouTuber and tell everyone to show off their stuff on YouTube.
I did.
Exactly.
I did a video on it. But you know what? Okay. If you get the Superbox as is, you don't do anything with it. Superbox as is. It's good. It's got YouTube on it. It's got like their own market. It's got like certain apps that are fine.
And you were saying that the newer one is running way better than the older version.
Dude, it's using the all-winner chipset.
Yeah, and they're pretty good.
And they're good. They're the ones that like we get people that either they're like, nope, M-Logic's better, nope, all-winner's better. Mm-hmm. They're not using rock chip. They are not using rock chip. Mm-hmm. It's not outdated. It's all updated to the latest and greatest stuff. The codecs in there was really good. Everything specs wise and default wise is good. The part that people start getting a little bit iffy on is once you start getting certain APKs, certain third-party APKs. And the ones that people complain about saying like, well, I should get free live streaming services because that was one of their biggest selling markets, is it's not there by default. Put it that way. It's not there by default. You have to go through a couple extra steps. It's similar to like FileLink. You go to FileLink, you put in a code, you could download something. The difference is you don't have to go to FileLink. You don't have to put in a code. You go to a certain specific area and it's just click, wait for it, good. Click the next one, wait for it, good, and you're set.
Listen, 2021, times, laws, all that kind of stuff is changing. And they're walking a very fine line with how easy they make it. I don't care if it's not on the device when you first boot it up, but it's real easy to put it on. It's the easiest out of all devices. And it's only a matter of time until that line moves. And it's not going to be moving in their favor. So they have to protect themselves either way.
Either way, yeah. So for anybody that's wondering, wait, so what's really happening here? They're selling a very easy preloaded defaulted Android streaming device that you can get certain things that not Netflix, I'm sorry, Amazon won't allow on their stuff. And what Superbox is saying, like, hey, before we get any heat, that's like me telling NxTLVL, I'm pissed off at him, and you're not allowed to do that anymore on Amazon. It's like, wait a minute. You supplied me with the damn product.
Okay, Aaron.
Okay, Aaron. Sit down, Karen.
To see if anyone gets that joke.
Yeah.
You were stumbling right into the next topic for a second there, but we were going to get into using a VPN for Netflix. Some people have been asking me, if I pay for the content, right? If I pay for the content, if I pay for whatever I can watch in the United States, or if I'm in Canada, why can't I watch it if I travel to the UK, if I travel to, the Caribbean or Africa or wherever? Why does my content in Netflix change? And I have to explain to people that these companies that are streaming these services are only paying for the rights for them to be aired in certain countries. Now, yes, we can use a VPN, and this is where it gets interesting, because my thought process is, yes, you can use a VPN to get access to it. And the only way that I would do it is if I was using a VPN, which is the only way you can do it, because you're getting access to content that's not legally allowed to be aired through that platform in another country. It questions, is it really legal to be accessing this content if you're not in the country that Netflix has the right to air it in?
So, but let's be real though. Let's be real. If you're in Brazil, mm-hmm, and you're trying to watch Hellboy,
oh God, you had to pick on Hellboy.
And let's just say Hellboy is on Netflix. The United States Netflix. Okay. Let's just say. I don't know if it is or not, but let's just say, hypothetically. And you're in Brazil, and we just had this whole conversation about Hellboy, and so make sure you watch What the Hell Happened for the January's episode. What the Hell Happened January? But you're in Brazil. You turn on your VPN. Actually, no, hold on. You don't turn on your VPN. You're in Brazil. You open up Netflix, and it's now accessing Brazilian Netflix, which you don't speak Portuguese. So you're like, okay, well, Netflix has this, subtitles, and you could add the languages and stuff like that. So you open up Netflix.
I see where you're going. This is pretty interesting.
Yeah. You find Hellboy. You pull it up, and actually, no, you don't find Hellboy. You don't find Hellboy. You're just like, wait, Hellboy's not there. So you're like, damn it, I can't watch I gotta watch my Hellboy. So I turn on my Netflix. I remote into New York, Miami, Chicago, Texas, anywhere in the United States, anywhere. Pick a place. And then you're like, hell yeah, I got my Hellboy now. I'm gonna watch my Hellboy. Hellboy's there. So you're watching Hellboy. At that point, do you think it really matters?
I think that there's going to have to be a lot of hoops jumped through before we even get to that point. Like, they have to tackle all the torrent and peer-to-peer people. And then if they're still hungry, then they're going to go after people that are illegally accessing content that's not paid to be aired through certain countries. Hellboy has been at the forefront of peer-to-peer torrent sharing for a very long, ever since it came out. It never made, I guess, the money through the actual theaters, and it's been hungry to get the money from the streamers. Anybody who's been streaming that content illegally for years, they've been coming after. The reason he's talking about Brazil is because they were charging people, I think, $500 or $600 if you streamed Hellboy illegally. They were actually coming after end users, and they were bypassing their internet providers. So it wasn't even the internet providers that were sending you a letter. Hellboy was coming right to your door.
Yeah. So
So
now this is third party stuff though. But if you're going, but the question is, and this is my personal opinion. This is my personal opinion. If you're using a third party whatever platform to get Hellboy, Hellboy's gonna knock on your door because they want their money. I'm like, come on, Hellboy. So if I think this is just me. If you are using a VPN to stream Netflix that you bought from the United States into a whole other country, I don't think they're going to come after you because you're on that legal platform.
yeah, you're on that legal platform, and for the other hand, you're also using a VPN. There's a lot worse things on the internet that people are doing than changing the country they're watching their Netflix and Disney Plus from. So I just wanted to kind of, clear the air, because I've been having a couple questions of people talking about, why can't I access it? Why can't I access it? Is it legal? Like, what is the process? Should I be worried? Should I not be? Because there's so many changes going on with laws and things happening on YouTube, off YouTube. People are so confused as to how do I use the internet in 2021?
Yeah, for sure. Now, the other thing too is that I wanted to bring up here is paying for Netflix will raise your credit score.
No wonder I've been held down for so many years. I've never paid for Netflix.
I saw this thing and I was laughing about it. I'm just like, wait, what? So paying for Netflix, raising your credit score, and this was actually quoted by Experian, which is one of the three credit bureaus out here. Experian's a big one. I would consider them being number one, and then maybe TransUnion number two, and I forget what the third one is. But normally there's three places that you get your credit score here in the States. Experian being like the number one, but they also look at the other ones. So they quoted this, and this was funny. This was hilarious. In that same exact link where I saw Experian quote this, right below it, subscribe to Netflix here using our discounted.
Oh, no, code. You're joking.
I'm like, wait a second. Hold on. Is Netflix getting desperate now?
No. Is it Netflix getting desperate, or has the credit bureau sold out? Because now they're using affiliate links. Your credit rating has now been brought to you by Netflix. What are we going to see next month? It's now been brought to you by Hellboy.
Well, okay, so here's the other thing. I don't think Experian is getting a payout on this on every single person that clicks on it. I think what's happening is Netflix went over to Experian, or maybe Experian to Netflix, and said, here is a lot of money for you to promote us. We're not going to pay you for every single affiliate person that comes through, but use this link, use your code. Here's a grip ton of money.
It's the same crap. If it's an affiliate or a sponsor, they're still selling out.
The way I see it, I don't even care what the hell Experian's doing. Why the hell is Netflix allowing a freaking credit company to do this?
You know what?
To me, this looks desperate. This, to me, Netflix. I've been looking at stats. Fourth quarter of 2020, Netflix had the worst subscription turnout in a very, very long time. They actually also had a lot of cancellations in the fourth quarter also.
Yeah.
Sure. A lot of people are starting to get fed up with the $20 or whatever it is that they're charging a month. Yeah. They're saying, screw this. There's nothing on Netflix for me to watch anyway. So people are now starting to smarten up and saying like, ooh, Disney Plus, they have all the Marvel, they got all the Star Wars, they got all the Disney, they got Pixar, then they got National Geographic. And they're just like, hey, if I line up with my Disney Plus, I can get their 3 app package deal that includes Hulu and ESPN. And it's cheaper than Netflix by, I think it's like cheaper than like I think it's like $8 cheaper.
I'm not going to get into, my whole rant about how 2021 is the year of the companies that sell out, because we look at the COVID bill and it was 550 pages of companies that had no business being anywhere. And now you have Netflix in cahoots with the credit companies. I'm not going to go into a whole different rant about how companies are selling out all over. I'm not going to do it. Not on this episode, maybe on another one. But on one hand, yes, I agree with everything you just said. On the other hand, I think that Netflix is trying to uphold what's called a retail value. And now if you look at things like Google, they're bundling their services into other products with other manufacturers. So instead of bringing their price down, they're leaving their price high to say, we are worth this, so that when they're bundled into other products, you're getting it for free. Now, you're only getting it for free for a certain period. And then when that time runs out, you have to decide if you want to keep Netflix or not. Now, who knows if they're going to come out or launch certain promotional packages for bundled products in the future. Like if you have the Google Nest or whatever it's called, and you have the hub, and you have Netflix with it, everybody who has that package gets Netflix for 50% off for the next year when it runs out. Who knows, right? But it could just be to uphold the value of their company to their investors.
Maybe.
Because they don't have things like ESPN and Hulu like Disney Plus does. So they can't necessarily compete in the same playing field. They have to figure out a different marketing strategy.
Well, for sure they do. But I think what they need to do is they need to look at themselves and say, like, okay, we started this streaming juggernaut over a decade ago. Not only did we start this huge streaming platform across the world, we took out a lot of different businesses.
100%.
So with all that being said, it's they should really look at themselves and be like, okay, we've made our money. We have exclusives. We have like a huge library. Now, do we really want to charge? And I just pulled it up. $17.99 a month. $17.99 a month. And it's for me, when I look at that bill and I'm like, okay, $18. You're gonna charge me $18. I better have the most popular movies and TV shows on your platform. And if I don't, I better get some kind of live streaming service in here that will take care of at least some of my basic stuff. And if I don't, I better have, here's my third one, I better have something that I really like a genre. If I got to scale back, you guys better be covering my a genre that I absolutely love. Now, here's the thing. Here's the sad part about it. I'm huge into Marvel. I'm huge into comic books and stuff like that. And they have the best movies and TV shows that are out. It's not on their Netflix platform. They lost all kinds of rights to everything. Who knows why? The biggest reason is Disney Plus says, we don't need you guys.
Yeah.
We're out of here. The third one that I had mentioned, I'm moving it up to number 2, is my genre, because one of my most popular genres is comic books. And you don't have anything. What do you have? I'm Batman. Dude, your Wonder Woman movie is horrible. Your Batman movies, the new ones, freaking Ben Affleck, really?
But I feel like they would do a better job if they focused on the comedy genre. Like if they said you can only find Dave Chappelle on Netflix. You can only find your favorite comedians on Netflix. And if they said, our comedy genre is exclusive, you can't get it anywhere else, because those people aren't licensed to Disney. They're not licensed to Hulu and that kind of stuff. That would be a very good marketing. You know what I mean?
They need to bundle up with a Comedy Central or
yes.
They need to bundle up with the Kevin Hart productions, like stuff like that.
And if they could include the comedy live streams, like the comedy channels, like do a whole comedy rehaul inside of Netflix, that would be amazing. Like, I don't know why they haven't done this already, because they're paying some of their comedians like $50 million for these specials, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Shondaland got paid what, 50 or $100 million to keep producing content for Netflix as well too. They're really investing into the comedy, but they're not selling it, I don't think, because there's a lot of comedy originals that are on Netflix that nobody knows anything about. It's the same reason that freaking Quibi died.
That's what I'm saying. They should have picked up Quibi.
It's crazy, man. You're talking about Wonder Woman just now and how they have Wonder Woman, but is that really helping them? Is it really helping them? $100 million that they passed. They got $100 million. And we talked about Wonder Woman when it came out. It was launched at the same time as Soul. And if you listen to our last episode of the What the Hell, the rant, you said it killed it, and then Soul revived it. It like brought back all the movies, right? I tried to watch it for 5 minutes. I was like, I'm not really interested, and I turned it off. I don't even think you could stay awake watching Wonder Woman.
I fell asleep a couple of times. Oh yeah, we talked to Juggernaut, and Juggernaut said he fell asleep a couple of times, and, and then he ruined it for everybody. He said he's like, yeah, Gal Gadot is gorgeous and beautiful, but watch Fast and Furious, one of the Fast and Furious movies, because she's there and she's wearing a bikini, and then he's just like, just look at her behind, and you're gonna be like, ew.
It's crazy though, because it's like you want to like these superhero movies, you do, and there wasn't a whole lot of superhero movies that was coming out in 2020. There's not even a whole lot that's coming out in 2021. We're gonna get a couple sprinkles here and there. We won't even get to watch The Mandalorian season 3 until the end of the year, and that, who knows, could even be pushed back even further depending on how things go. Because I know here locally, the numbers for the lockdown keep going; they're skyrocketing right now. Like, it's still going insane, and nobody's going outside. I don't know. Like, I don't even know what's going on. But we're looking at a movie that majority of the people can't even stay awake through, making $100 million within a few weeks, and then coming back around on Rotten Tomatoes, getting a score of rotten. Like, it's terrible. Like, I don't even understand. Like, we're craving and we're begging for good content, and it's just a flop. Like, I don't even know what to say. They already announced they're having a number 3 for Wonder Woman.
I think so. Wonder Woman, it's all about sex appeal. Like, when you look at it, it could have been such a great movie. It could have been such a great movie. And some people might say like, oh, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as you guys are saying it. That movie was horrible. It, like, the whole intro with the kids fighting and all that stuff, and no, not the kids, when she was a kid competing with adults. I'm like, why don't they do? I'm like, right now they have a very good vision of how to tell a story when she was a child.
They should do the whole movie about her childhood.
Yeah, why are they not like building her up like prequels? Like, this is how she started doing her stuff. So that way, when you get to now, like, 1984 or 88 or 85 or whatever, 80s, or and like once you get to that point, like, I think what they need to do is they need to start hiring like the freaking Russo brothers, James Gunn. They need to look at Marvel, and they need to look at their structure, I guess is how you're saying it. Because one of the things, and I think it was with we had an interview with I Just Watched, my cousin Junior, and I think he was the one that said it, where when you're watching a Marvel movie and they're like, okay, here they are, they're battling, they're doing something, they're working together, something's going on right away. It's like boom, action. And then what happens is they get into this story where something happens where you're just like, okay, this is what where the movie is going through. Here is the problem. Here is the issue. Almost immediately, right off the bat, when you look at the DC movies, it's kind of like, cool. Here's a story that might not be really related to the movie. We might mention something in the beginning, but it's not going to be something that's going to be throughout the end. And then as soon as the movie starts going along, you don't really know what the problem is. You don't really know what is happening, what the issue is until 30 minutes into the movie where you're just like, oh, here's the bad guy. And even then you're just like, wait, now we're talking about an hour into the movie. Wait, there's two bad guys? I thought there was just one that was potentially a bad guy. And if you know comic books, you're just like, okay, I know she's a bad guy and I know he's a bad guy and I know they're bad guys. But for people who are watching it for the first time, you're just like,
What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
So I think part of the problem is that they're making these movies for Hollywood and not for the people actually watching them. When this originally first came out, it had a score of 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, saying that it was a fantastic movie. I don't know who was watching this, who the critics were, but they said they gave it a score of 90%. After it was released, it dropped down to 59%. Now, I think if we look at, I'm going to go with YouTube because there's so many good people on YouTube that are talented for all different kind of facets when it comes to everything. One of the biggest people that I watch for comic book related material is Comics Explained. There's a guy named Rob, has almost 2 million subscribers, and all he does is talk comic books. And honestly, I don't read a whole lot of comic books, but I can listen to this guy talk all day long about comic books and superheroes and all that kind of stuff. If you just grab a couple of these super talented people off of YouTube, you don't have to pay them the millions and billions you do off like James Gunn and all those people, but have them as like, I don't know what you want to call it, as like a resource on set. When it comes to just look over the script, what do you think? Give us some feedback. I think that it would put a different perspective on these movies, and it might change the focus of it to the people watching it instead of the people that are paying into the budgets.
But see, you don't think they've learned after how many bombs? Like they have to have like okay, I don't really follow the DC like directors or writers or like anything behind the scenes on what DC does, because every time I watch their movies, I'm just like, dude, you guys got it so freaking wrong. Like, why? But when you watch Marvel, freaking Tom Holland's like, oh my gosh, I grew up like reading Spider-Man comic books and Spider-Man did this and Stan Lee was talking about this. And then I watched freaking Tobey Maguire and then this and that. And he's just like, I'm such a big fan and me actually living my dream of becoming a superhero. You're like, okay, cool. Here's a fanboy coming in that knows a lot about it. But it's not just him. It's the writers. It's the directors. It's the people pulling the freaking cables, for crying out loud. Like everybody is like invested into the story, into the production, into everything. So when it's somebody brand new, like my wife, for example, that does not like when I first met her, she did not like anything with comic books, like anything with superheroes, nothing of any of that. But I'm like, watch Iron Man 1. Because I'm just like, that is probably the closest movie you're going to get to where it could really actually happen. It's right. A guy with no powers. And you know what? She was like, this is really, really good. Dude, I showed her Batman and she's just like, why am I like, this is the same guy. This is the same guy, a guy that has money making suits and all that stuff. But I'm not invested as I was with Iron Man. She's like, it's still good. Like the Batman movies were still good, but it's not the same.
It's crazy because you talk about, because it could actually happen. There's a lot of talk recently because Elon Musk became the richest man in the world with $185 billion. So like, okay, when does he build Iron Man now? Like he's got enough money. Why doesn't he just build Iron Man? But you know what? To what you just said, they're still making $100 million in a month. And they're going to create a third one. And if you like it or you don't, because it's a superhero movie, people are going to watch it. Because what? When was the last one before Wonder Woman? What was the last superhero movie? Mulan?
There was who?
Mulan's not even a superhero. So what else do we have in 2020?
Mulan. What the hell?
Like, what do we have?
Say Mulan.
But I'm saying, like, what else? What other superhero
Mulan's
movies did we have in 2020?
Okay, hold on. If we're gonna talk about movies of 2020, I don't think. I thought somebody. I thought something came out. No, actually, you know what? I don't think anything came out. Oh, wait, New Mutants.
Yeah, but,
New Mutants came out. That was better than Wonder Woman.
well, yes, it's better than Wonder Woman, but you know,
bad movie.
Iconic wise, like, you know, just legendary wise, the name Wonder Woman versus the name New Mutants, it holds weight. That's all I'm saying. Even if you had New Mutants and Wonder Woman, you had two movies for the whole year that were superheroes. People are going to watch both because they're superheroes. Now, if we had 5, or if we had like a blockbuster, like another Avengers, then people would have saw Wonder Woman, seen that it wasn't getting the best reviews, and like, whatever. But there wasn't a lot of content being released, and they're still making 100 million in a month. So they're going to keep doing it.
You know what? Birds of Prey came out. And that one was that was better than Wonder Woman, and I wasn't a fan of Birds of Prey.
I'm just saying, they just need to start respecting the people actually watching them, the content at this point, because it's just being straight disrespectful now. Because they're like, what else are you gonna watch?
Yeah, what else are you gonna watch?
What else are you gonna do? Okay,
so the next thing I wanted to talk about here, and this was so this was a statement. This was a statement. Jailbroken fire sticks are legal. I don't know if this is like.
So the full statement was because you bought it like that, they're legal.
Right. Jailbroken fire sticks are legal because you bought it that way. Okay, so if you go to the corner and you're buying crack, does that make it legal?
Jesus.
Hold on, no. Actually, hold on a second. Hold on. I got a better one. I get it. Because everyone's gonna say, wait, it's crack. You can't compare a jailbroken. You can't compare a fire stick to crack. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. I'll retract that because someone's gonna say, okay, calm down. Okay. Jailbroken fire sticks are illegal because you bought it that way. What if you go Xanax? Xanax is a very legal drug for people that use for anxiety issues. So if you go buy it off the corner, all powdered up, labeled Xanax, and it is Xanax, is it still legal? Is it still legal is the question. Now, if you got to question yourself to be like, wait a minute, I don't know, is it still legal? I think it's still illegal. No, it's seriously, if you're buying over-the-counter drugs, well, I guess Xanax is not even over-the-counter, prescription drug. If you're buying a prescription drug, it's all powdered up, and they put it in a little baggie. Is it legal?
You know, there's so many things. Even if you buy a computer, right, and then you go download torrents or Hellboy. Let's say you go stream Hellboy on your computer. Is it okay because you bought your computer from Best Buy? No. The actions that you do with the tools that you're given dictates whether or not if your actions are legal or not. It has nothing to do with the actual device. So if you're accessing any kind of copyright content and you are not paying or not doing the means that are legally binded by those rules of that content, then you have to understand whatever you're accessing, there's no gray area. It's either it's legal or it's not. And you better be protecting yourself if you're trying to do it any other way. It kind of drives me a little crazy when people say it's a gray area. What's gray about it?
It used to be gray.
Yeah.
It used to be gray because the way. Okay, so I'll define it.
Okay, fine.
It was gray area because it was looked at the same way as me saying, "Hey, you could borrow my movie," and then you go to your house, you take my movie that I lend you borrow, that I lent you, and I'm getting hungry. And you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna have a house party. I'm gonna have a whole bunch of people come over and watch this movie." When you turn on some of this stuff, it does say when you're redistributing, blah blah blah, stuff like that. Let's just say I sold it to you. You know, there is a big difference when they're talking about redistribution. They are talking about when you're monetizing certain things. So when people were grabbing that movie and they were now ripping them, and they were ripping DVDs or VHSs, whatever it was. Okay, now what you're doing is you're selling something that is not owned by you. Illegal. But when you are saying, "Hey, I'm gonna let you use this. I'm gonna let you borrow it. I'm gonna let you use it. I'm gonna let you stream it. I'm gonna let you do whatever," not illegal. There is certain apps out there. I know, like, I'm not going to bring the big ones. Netflix, of course, you could share your username and password to somebody else. Disney Plus, same thing. There's certain services out there that you can share your username and password to other people. So it's looked at very similar. The thing is, with me, if I pay for it and I'm sharing it with you, you're not paying for it. So are you doing it illegally? No, because they're allowing me to share my username and password. So when it comes to apps like Voodoo, I don't know if you've heard of Voodoo before. When you buy a DVD, there's a code in there that says, "Hey, you could download the digital version of this and load it into your Voodoo account." I had one of my best friends lives in Atlanta. And he has a massive library because he buys a grit ton of DVDs. So he would be like, "Hey, dude, I'm allowed to share this thing because I bought the damn thing. You know, I'm not charging you for it." So that's how this was being looked at with the gray area, where it's kind of like, well, here's a third-party app. I'm going to put this on the website. I'm going to put this out for the world to watch. I'm not selling it. I'm not doing nothing with it besides, here it is. If anybody wants to watch it, great. If they don't want to watch it, whatever. So that's where it's gray, where it's just, they never defined it, where you are not allowed to restream it, because this whole streaming platform is still pretty fresh. A lot of companies are now jumping into the streaming apps.
I don't know. I just one of those parties were paying for the distribution of it and the other one wasn't. And then if we look at some of these third-party applications that were making money through advertisements and monetizations by allowing people to get access through them, like, to me, it's I mean, if you want to stretch it, you could stretch it and call it a gray area all day. But morality-wise, like,
take the ads out. I was saying you're adding ads into it. I'm not talking about monetization. I'm saying take that out. Look at it as taking all of them. Cyberflix, no ads, no nothing. They're just scraping what's out there on the web with nothing. That's where that gray area comes in. Well, that's where it used to come in.
I'm telling everyone now that 2021 is the year of the VPN. Like, if you don't got a VPN in 2021, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm actually testing 2 other VPN brands right now, because I'm like, I don't even know if I want to use only one at this point. Like, I want to make sure that I have a backup, or I want to make sure that I have different ones to use in case I need to. And we used to talk about, make sure that you have a backup application, or make sure you have a backup, whatever. I'm at the point where I want to make sure I have a backup VPN.
Now, the last thing I will say before we move on to the next one is, jailbroken Fire Sticks are legal because you bought it that way. Wrong. Don't.
Sound effect?
Don't. Wait, hold on. I gotta find my. There you go. Don't do it. People are gonna be like, wait, what is that sound effect? Coming soon. So yeah, just don't. If people are getting arrested for this crap for selling them, selling a Fire Stick that has these apps that they don't even own on there, and just yeah, that statement, jailbroken Fire Sticks are legal because you bought it that way. No, no. Okay, so next thing I wanted to bring up was people know about Amazon Fire TVs. People know about Amazon Fire TVs. And what's funny was, and I'm in on this, I'm included. Next Level said, "Hey, Amazon is now selling Amazon Fire TVs." I'm like, "They already got their Amazon Fire TVs." He's like, "No, they don't. They don't got their own Amazon Fire TVs." I'm like, "Yes, they do. You could buy an Amazon TV and it looks like the freaking Fire Stick there. It's the Amazon Fire TV and it's labeled as
Fire TV.
Fire TV." So you just take it away on this one so you can give us some more content.
It's like they were licensing out their software, right? Their Fire TV software to brands like Insignia and Toshiba, right? And we've had these conversations. Rohas is all about his Samsung TVs and his QLEDs and all that kind of crap. And I'm like, hey, I'm a simple dude. I just grabbed myself one of those fancy Toshiba Fire TVs and I'm good. 50, 55 inch. They've come out with a 70 inch recently. I have my Fire Stick built in. The issue I had is every time I set up a Fire Stick, a family member or a friend would be like, hey, can I borrow a Fire Stick from you? And then I'll be stuck with a TV that I couldn't watch anything on. So I ended up getting one of these Fire TVs. But it's crazy that it's taken them close to 4-5 years to even come out with an Amazon Basics Fire TV. Not Insignia, not Toshiba, but an actual Amazon Basics, which they should have done from time. Who knows, right? Because it's good to have brand deals as well, because some brands are really good at certain things, but it's not like Amazon is actually making an Amazon Basics TV. It's all licensed out to third parties anyways.
Right. And I think Amazon Basics has now built a name for themselves.
For sure.
Where this is like I used to be like, hey, Amazon Basic batteries. Like, are you serious? This is dumb. Like,
No,
why am I going to do an Amazon Basics battery? I'm going to get some energizers,
Mhm.
And I started to, I saw some of these deals. I'm just like, you know what? Let me just try their batteries. And they would last just as long as an energizer, sometimes even longer. Sometimes I would be like, is that thing still alive? I feel like, what is that? The Grinch when Jim Carrey's the Grinch, when he goes and gets his award and they're just like, yeah, they nurtured you. They raised you up. And then he looks at his two aunts and he's like, are you still living? That's how I felt, dude. I'm looking at these things. I'm like, man, how are these batteries still, dude? Amazon Basics on my staircase coming down or up, doesn't matter which way you're going. But on the sides, I have these little, they're kind of like sensors, light sensors. So when you walk, the sensor picks you up that you're getting nearby. So a little light will turn on. That way you can see the stairs coming down or coming up, And I've had those things for a year and 2 months. Amazon Basics. Haven't changed the batteries once.
Jumping back to the TV situation, right? I have nothing against Toshiba, nothing against Insignia, but I'm very surprised that it took them this long to understand that it should have been Amazon Basics and Toshiba, not Insignia. Insignia, sure, they can sell it too, but that's a Best Buy brand, right? It should have been Amazon Basics and then a TV brand like Toshiba, right? Why give away all of that revenue to what is it? Like, it's not even a main label, right? Insignia is not a main label, right? So it should have been a basic and then a main label like Toshiba. And sure, if Insignia wants to jump into, that's cool, but that market of the not main label TV should have been basics. It shouldn't have been Insignia. It should always been Amazon Basics, Toshiba, and then whatever. You know what I mean? Like they should have had that market from years ago. I don't understand why they didn't take it then, but it's interesting to see, are they going to phase out their contracts with Insignia? What do you think?
I think they'll keep them. I think it's actually kind of smart that they did do Insignia, because if Best Buy does own Insignia, who owns Toshiba?
Toshiba's their own company, I think. Yeah.
So I think it's smart, because that means you could exclusively get this. You know, Best Buy is paying Amazon now to use their OS stuff. They just have to slap it on. Toshiba being now more of a mainstream. You know what I mean? It just gives it another. It gives it another layer for Amazon to figure out their own stuff. So I think what they would do is, because Amazon Basics, they're just now making a name for themselves.
Mhm.
I think they should keep Toshiba and Insignia. I think they should keep both. If anything, I think what they should do is they should try to hit one of the big boys. If they could get Samsung or Sony to say, hey, can we use one of your TVs? It doesn't matter which brand it is, one of them, to put Fire OS. Now they could say, hey, we got Samsung.
I'm kind of curious. Kind of curious if they'll still sell Insignia Fire TVs on Amazon once they start to move in the Amazon Fire TVs, because technically that's a Best Buy brand. So they can say, well, that's a Best Buy exclusive. You keep that as a Best Buy exclusive. Get it off our Amazon platform.
Yeah. I don't know if they will, because money-wise, but it'd be interesting.
So I wanted to talk about this thing that I seen that came up with Extreme Codes. And they're saying a new article came out actually really recently, like I think last week. And they're like, hey, we have nothing to do with the resurrected Extreme UI that you're seeing. So apparently there's some third-party live TV streaming services under table services, and Extreme Codes has found out about it, and it looks really similar to what Extreme Codes used to look like. So now they're just like, hey, we have nothing to do with this. We've washed our hands. But in the streaming community, it's so crazy. It blows my mind. Like, people, like, they're just completely ignorant with what's going on. Like, yo, if you're not involved, just leave it alone. Just don't talk about it. Why are you causing all this kind of like attention to things that don't need attention right now? Like, I seen a post that you had sent me on Reddit. There's subreddits specifically about this. And if people think that the powers to be are not sitting there and have access to Google, they are crazy. The same way, like, we have the UFC, the issue with UFC that happened, where the person went on Dana White's Twitter and was like, I'm gonna watch this free on the internet. And Dana White's like, well, you might, but we're gonna catch you. Like, we're gonna make it very difficult for you guys. And I've actually heard reports of people in North America, both Canada and the United States, that have had to use a VPN to get issues at certain times to live streaming services, under the table services. So if you think that, oh, this is only happening in the UK, that they're only able to blanket block people in the UK, you're sadly mistaken, because those companies are in North America too. And if you want to keep tempting them on their actual social media pages saying, hey, I'm going to get this content for free and I don't care, I'm going to rub this in your face, how long are you really going to be able to do this for? The technology is out there to block you. It's out there. Don't be stupid and don't tempt them. Like,
don't go to Discord.
Don't go to
don't go to Reddit.
Oh my God. Like, just try to be mindful. Don't be ignorant. You know, we always have a good thing until we have a bad apple that ruins it for everybody. You know what I mean? Don't be that bad apple. Be respectful, no matter what you do to yourself, to the community, family, friends. Just mind your business. Just mind your business.
Does mine? All right, Will Smith. Mind your business. Mind your business. All right, so we don't want to put that one too long.
Yeah.
So, New Tech Evolution has been shut down again. Okay. hold on. I gotta do this one. Oh my God! New Tech Evolution has been shut down again. So I feel bad. I feel bad for him, but Here is the one thing, and I've talked to several people. Next Level's talked to several people. There is one of the guys out there that I follow on Twitter, and we actually had him on the podcast. Zach Talks Tech.
Mm.
He makes such a very solid, no BS point where it's you signed up to their terms and conditions. When you start saying freedom of speech, again, it's their terms of conditions. If you want to have freedom of speech, go have freedom of speech wherever you want. Go outside and talk whatever you want. But when you're using a platform that you don't own, like YouTube, like Twitter, like Instagram, Facebook, for crying out loud, Trump got freaking banned from Twitter because of this.
And Pornhub.
And you had to say it.
I
had to say it. It sucks. Like I absolutely feel bad for New Tech because he's put so much work onto the channel. I think YouTube has done a lot of updates and changes and has notified all of us multiple times, several times. They took away the green monetization button to a yellow, to a not monetized, to adding community strikes instead of copyright strikes. Like they're adding a bunch of layers. And sure, YouTube has a lot of issues with their freaking AI robots and their algorithm just being jacked up. They do have a lot of issues like that for sure. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to certain things that they just don't want you to talk about, and they're just like, we don't care, then you're done. Then they could just shut you down. Now, this isn't the first time this has happened to New Tech, and he's been able to fight it and get his channel back. Now, not only speaking about New Tech though, but it's happened to Electrical MD. Mm-hmm. It's happened to Husham. It's happened to several people. Like Target in 1080p is now Omi and a Hellcat. There's a lot of people out there that their channels got either shut down, removed, or my channel completely pivot to something else because you don't, they'll do it for you. They'll just take it away.
Supreme Builds is going to be changing his name too. He's like, my name is Supreme Builds, and I haven't done a build in 3 years. So what am I? I mean,
Supremely.
Supremely. That kind of actually has a nice ring to it. So
I like it. Supremely.
And you know, here's an interesting thing. I'm going to throw it out to you because I know that you'll understand this. But I was having a conversation with my girlfriend, and I was like, I don't even know if this is the content that I want to be making, because we are dictated by the algorithm to make certain videos. 100%, right? We look at people like El Jefe. El Jefe was like, when I first started, I was making videos about all different kinds of tech. And then I realized that every time I dropped a headphone video, it blew up. The algorithm dictates what kind of content we should make. If we choose to listen and comply, then we grow on this platform. If we choose not to listen and not comply, then we stay like Next Level at 30,000 subscribers. But it leads me to question, are we on this platform making the content that we want to make? Or are we dictated to make the content that YouTube wants from us?
I think it varies. Like, it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. Sure, you can go there and be like, hey, I want to do YouTube videos about Cody. But if they're just like, well, we don't want Cody on here, find something else.
Yep.
Then find something else that you like.
100%.
You know? Find something else. Yeah.
Now there's always a way to be creative enough to make it work for you. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you can't stop the first time they're like, don't do that.
Yeah. Now, some people might say this, and please don't fall into this trap. They're going to say, well, and I know we've talked about Telegram. We've talked about Telegram groups being shut down and stuff. Mm-hmm. We've heard about Reddit groups being shut down. We've heard about Twitter. We've heard about Discord. There's one thing I know that people are going to bring up, and they're going to say this. Why don't you just build your own website then? Well, here's the thing. Who owns your website? Is it GoDaddy? Is it Wix? All they got to do is just now send a letter or whatever to that company to say, hey, we need this shut down because they are either hosting apps, they're hosting conversations, they're hosting how-to videos of how to do things that we own. And if you don't comply, it's on your platform. So we'll sue you.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go after the other person too, but it's your platform. We're going to sue you. So remember, terms and conditions.
We've talked about this before. Like YouTube, they don't care. They're not hiring a lawyer to defend you. Anybody comes to them, they're like, hey, it's this guy. Go get him.
And
it's
it says
do nothing.
That's when you sign up, it says it in their terms and conditions. When you put a video, this
you were responsible.
You people.
That whole Copa thing that just happened, that was them washing their hands. They're like, yo, hey, you signed that. Now,
remember, people, the other thing you people are going to say, you people, I just love using that word, you people.
We're going to have a new segment called the Rohas rant.
Yeah.
And it's going to start off, everything's going to start off, you people.
I think I've been ranting. I've been a crabby cakes today on this episode. But the one thing I and I'm not going to call certain YouTubers out. Some of them are good friends of ours. Some of them are just there, and some are just, I don't know what the hell you're doing. But with all that being said, when you make a video and you're just like, well, I'm not monetized, it shouldn't matter. It does matter. It's their platform if you're monetized or not. It's in their terms and conditions. When you make a Google account and when you go to YouTube, that it's their terms and conditions. And not only that, not only are they saying, we don't care if you're monetized or not. If you put something dumb on here, we're going to go ahead and they don't have to demonetize you. They'll just strike your video. That's what they're doing. They're not demonetizing videos now. Now they're striking videos.
But Rojas, what's happening next month?
Oh, they're adding monetizations on all videos.
It don't matter.
Everywhere is getting freaking monetized. It doesn't. And here's the thing. Let's just say Rojas has 200 subscribers, and I have videos for like 5 years that are legal, legit, YouTube friendly. Guess what? My videos are now going to have ads, and that money is going to go to YouTube because I'm not part of the monetization program. So YouTube gets every single penny. So if I have one video that goes viral, they get all the money.
But it still has to be acceptable by those companies that are putting their advertisements on it. It's not our choice.
Yep.
There's no free speech. We have no yes or no.
And you know what? It's actually kind of smart on YouTube where it's kind of like, hey, yeah, we're letting you use our free platform. We're letting you use our free platform. Go ahead and load whatever you want. And if you want to get monetized, cool, join the monetization program, and then you get paid, we get paid, we're good. But this is very smart because YouTube's like, wait a minute, there are who knows how many channels out there or videos out there that are not monetized, that they're just like, wait, these fall into our terms and conditions, and maybe they're not putting work into it. We could still get paid for this. Why don't we just flip it on for everybody?
Do you think that was really the conversation, or the conversation was, hey, how do we sell more YouTube premium subscriptions?
No, I wouldn't think that would be part of the conversation. I think it's, I don't know. I don't think, haven't you run into a YouTube channel that has like 3 million, 4 million, 5 million views? One video, and they have less than 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I think it's, I don't know. I think it varies. I think it might be part of the conversation, but I think it varies between the two. So I don't know. All right. So yeah, a lot of information, a lot of stuff within the streaming world, and hopefully you guys learned something out of this, because this has been a freaking, I don't know if you want to call it a Rojas meltdown. Rojas crabby cake today.
There you go.
Oh man, I'm just don't be dumb. Don't make dumb decisions. Don't.
Just don't do it. This is, again, a reminder that we do this episode of streaming breaking news, all kinds of streaming related stuff once a month, usually around the middle of the month these air. We also are asking everybody, if you're looking to do anything for us this year, to make sure that you leave us a review on places like Apple Podcasts, wherever you're watching us. Those reviews really help us be found on, for anybody that might like similar content like you're watching right now. If you guys enjoy this, make sure that you hit a review or a comment. It really does help us out a lot.
Absolutely. And make sure you guys do check out FCDbox. Links in the description. They have a really cool launcher. Wanted to be sure we shout them out. They have a really cool stuff. We did a video on the Clips one, just dedicated on their stuff and how it looks like. Make sure you also subscribe to BS Clips. There is some stuff in there that is pretty good. Some stuff that's exclusive and some bite-sized stuff for you guys to handle. So yeah, take care of yourselves and make sure you guys have yourself a VPN, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the month. With all that being said, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.